My name is Taylor Galuppi. I'm an applied anthropology major here at CSUDH, and I am studying parental education and how different demographic backgrounds are affected by quality of instructor. Yeah, so there's all these Mommy and Me classes, and they're fantastic, but they're for, white moms in El Segundo. And so there's, all these places that have mandatory classes for, DCFS or child protection. And when those classes are involved, a lot of the time there's sort of a disconnect between the instructor and the parent, and a lot of the time that comes from instructors looking down on parents or wanting to fix poor people, or especially people of color and parents of color. And I met with a holistic family network and talked about how they value each and every one of their parents. And I'm planning on meeting further with more low-income areas and seeing how we can incorporate some of those mentalities. And not to be that guy, but a lot of those places, those have they have generational wealth. They have oftentimes two heteronormative parents, and it's a very nuclear family. We have enough money to put $1.8 million on a house, but we're bummed because now we have a little child to raise. And I love that they have support, but there are so many other types of families that need just as much support, and often the people that need the most support end up being shunned based on racial insecurities. I actually am a returning student, and so I got involved with research because when I was away from education, I sort of read case studies and research reports as a way to make myself feel smart. And coming back to school, I thought it would be really cool to get involved with research and sort of be able to contribute to the research world in the way that I was taking in all of this information beforehand. So I kind of found my research mentor. Last semester was my first semester here, and I found Dr. Lucas because I decided to pick one or two professors and try and take all of my classes with them, just to sort of pick one or two people and form connections before branching out later on. And because I had two projects in each of his classes, I wanted to see if I could put them together in some way and make it into a bigger project, and it kind of snowballed out of my own control. And now I'm in an independent research course with him and sort of moving forward on how we can make the project larger and go into more neighborhoods and more backgrounds. For exploring personal curiosities, I think it's actually really incredible doing social science research in general, because no matter who you find in their field, they're going to be so excited to teach you about it. And so when I have a certain curiosity, like I did caretaking for a really long time, I will be able to find people that run caretaking industry, able to do parenting, able to talk about disabled and sending nurses into homes. And whenever you ask them, you can tell that it's one of the few times they get to talk about their passions. And so as soon as you sort of launch that question, they're ready to talk at you forever. And it's really exciting to be able to keep digging deeper into your different research. For myself, I've definitely learned that I'm a lot more capable than I kind of gave myself credit for before I came back to school. After taking a few years and working in kitchens and stuff like that, coming back to school, I kind of saw it as something that I needed to do to move forward in life, but was genuinely terrified about being able to make a mark in any way. But kind of as soon as I started asking questions and realizing where my passions lay, it kind of did it itself. And the more I read, the more I was excited to read more. And I was just kind of able to branch out in a way that I didn't really see myself as capable of before. And as for society, I really feel like the research that I've been doing, again, just really opens up all of the people around you, and it makes everyone really excited to talk about their passions. And I've learned so much doing research that I just would have never even thought about just sitting in a classroom. More CSUDH students should seek research because it's opening so many doors for you. The financial aid office has a ton of grants that they want undergraduate students to use to find research. And even if it's just so much as setting up interviews and you want to buy little gift cards for people for showing up, people will help you fund that here. And on top of that, going to any of your professors, they're excited that you want to learn. And so they're going to put time aside for you. And when you're at CSUDH, they really want to help you succeed here. And so whenever you feel like you have an interest in something, you should pursue it in any way that you can, especially when you're at a place where you're able to put academia and put your intelligence first, because you may be really interested in something today, and researching it might make you realize that it's not what you thought it was when you got there, and that can be bad or it can be incredible and make you want to do that even more. Getting involved with research has been really huge for me in sort of diving into going back to school. After taking such a long break between high school and then culinary school and then here, I was terrified about all of the sort of guardrails and all of the barriers that are present for a lot of people getting into academia. But when you're at a place like CSUDH, just kind of having a conversation with someone that's higher up, whether it be a professor or a dean or a librarian, I feel like they want you to move forward. And there are already so many classes that you have to do some degree of research, like even if it's just like for a lit review, or if you're just interested in a paper, it's so easy to go to your professor and say, I did this paper, it's finished, but there's more that I want to know about it. And I want to dive into this further. And how can we sort of take that next step and make this something that maybe I can get published, or maybe I can go further into this field, or what can we do to sort of further that? And I guarantee any professor here that you talk to is just going to be really excited that you're excited, and you're going to bounce off of each other and go way further. My advice for a student trying to get into research is to take a project that you already have to do and think about your prompt for it, and think about, okay, well, here is what I have to do, and here's something interesting, but it would take more time, and decide, well, let's figure out a way to make that extra time worth it, and let's figure out what we can turn this into, and maybe finding a mentor, whether it be a favorite professor, or again, the librarians here have been really incredible. You just kind of have to take that first step and decide, okay, well, I have 6 sources instead of 3 for this paper. What can I do to turn that into something? So I actually, outside of class, I work at the library here at CSUDH, and I work at the research help desk. And a majority of my time spent there is either running the instant messaging system the library has, or just sitting there waiting for people to have questions. And so if you need someone, and maybe you're not comfortable with the professor yet and you're looking for another student, you can just kind of walk into the library, and I will be sitting there on my laptop. And we can sit down, I can go through how we find things in the databases and what we have access to, because it's way more than you think. And we can figure out what you're passionate about and how we can kind of move forward there.